Welcome, everyone, to the City of Menifee's Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission meeting for Thursday, March 7th. This is our regular meeting of the Parks and Recreation and Trails Commission. We will begin by a call to order. Ms. Jones. A roll call. Ms. Jones.
Chair Faust.
Present.
Vice Chair Trindley.
Present.
Commissioner Ackerman.
Present.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Present.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Bill Ackerman.
All right, please stand if you're able. And begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Nix, do we have any presentations today?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We have two presentations. The first one I'm going to turn over to our Community Services Coordinator, Michael Reinhardt. It's presented also by one of our youth leaders in Menifee.
All right, good evening. So today we are here to present a winner for one of the contests that we run through our Youth Leaders of Menifee. So I'm actually going to introduce our Youth Leaders of Menifee President, Liza Lazaro.
Hi everyone, good evening. So one of the initiatives that we have for our green team is that we have a recycled art contest, and any kids or teenagers are more than welcome to participate. And it's an environmental friendly project that they do with any recycled items that they have around the house or just in our area. So we have our very good winner over here, Miss Lexi Lukehart, and she's a 5th grader from Boris Elementary.
And then we would like to invite everyone up to take a picture with her to celebrate her accomplishment. And you can see her really cool artwork, so we'll kind of meet right up here at the front. All right, thank you. And congratulations again to Lexi. It was an awesome project.
As our commission's making their way back, I'm going to introduce our Community Services Supervisor, Gabby Cow, for the next presentation.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I wanted to take some time today to introduce you to our brand new Community Services Coordinator, Shanice Jackson. This is her 4th day, and she has already hit the ground running. Very excited to have her on board. She is overseeing our sports, Healthy Menifee, skate park, alternative sports, and our brand new aquatics program this year. She's been in the recreation field for over 9 years, with experience in facility reservations, after-school programs, youth and adult sports, special events, teen programs, just to name a few. And she also currently coaches collegiate and travel basketball. I'm going to go ahead and hand the microphone over to her.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. As the newly appointed Recreation Coordinator for the Community Services Department, I'm honored for this opportunity to work alongside of you. During my first week, I have witnessed firsthand what unity and community support looks like, and for that, I'm truly inspired and honored to be a part of this team and associated with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Jackson.
Welcome.
Thank you all. We're now at item 5, approval of minutes. Are there any comments or corrections on the minutes of our February 1st regular meeting? And if none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're now at items number 6 on the agenda, approval or modifications. Mr. Nix, are there any agenda approval or modifications needed?
There are no modifications, sir.
Thank you. Okay, now we are now on item 7, public comments, non-agenda items. Are there any public comments?
We do have one public comment tonight. May Barb Makersack please approach the podium?
Thank you. And before you begin, let me just read this following statement. Okay. This is the time for members of the public to address the commission about items which are not listed on the agenda. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the commission's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time such comments are made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes on any single item. Please submit a complete speaker card to the commission secretary. Well, thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, I just came, we play pickleball at La Ladera Park, and I sent an email. I went on the city website on January 30th with a complaint about the fact, or just a concern that when it rains, the trail around the court fills up with water. And I know that prior, the city moved the pickleball, they put paddle holders outside there, which is right on that mud area. So when it rains, if we want to hang our paddles up or hang our bags up, we're walking through the mud, which we're then tracking into the courts, and we're concerned because it makes it slippery. And so I did go on the city website, like I said, on the 30th of January. The only response I got was on the 7th. The 9th of February, I got an email that said the status had been changed from new to canceled. And I was just curious as to what the city's doing because no one's responded. And the other issue that we were thinking of since I came is I wanted to see if there's any way we could put in the budget. We noticed at the new Quartz Ranch and at Spirit, they have the windbreak screens. And there's a lot of people that play at La Ladera. Anywhere, we played there were 34 on Tuesday morning. We play at 8 o'clock. And they play from 8 till noon, and they also play in the evening. And so it gets a lot of use. So that's my only, I just wanted a concern about the condition. Could the city put like gravel down or asphalt, something to, take care of that mud, especially because when it rains, not only does the mud fill up, but if you go up there today, the water is up to the court on that outside trail on the far side. That was my comment.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Could I ask could staff follow
Sure.
up?
Yeah, Chair Faust, although I know we're limited during the meeting to respond directly, our Parks Manager, Bryce Howell, will provide you his business card, and he will follow up with you directly. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
You are absolutely welcome to.
Thank you. All right, item number 8, discussion items. 8.1, Parks Master Plan Annual Review.
And I'm going to hand that one over to Ms. Mitchell to provide that report.
Good evening, commissioners. It's my pleasure to review the Parks Master Plan. I know it seems like we just got it approved in 2023, and although we're just shy a few months of an actual year of having adopted the master plan, now's about the time in the spring when we're looking at making adjustments. We just kind of completed our mid-year adjustments for this fiscal year budget and looking at 24-25 as the second half of our biennial budget. So it's kind of the time that it would be a great opportunity for us to kind of see what we've accomplished. Again, the Parks Master Plan, after just a little bit of background information for any of our new commissioners or listeners out there who weren't familiar with this, after having the original Parks Master Plan adopted in 2016, because of the exponential growth within the city and the changing of needs, we felt it was necessary to kind of update the master plan. Which is what we did after a 1.5-year process. It was officially adopted in July 2023. 2023 by City Council, and specifically kind of gave us this roadmap of items and strategies that we should be utilizing as a guide tool when it comes to budgeting, allocating funding, kind of taking a look at how to best utilize our resources available to the city staff for the benefit of the residents. And so you'll see here, it kind of gives us, we have 7 distinct strategies for kind of meeting these goals, and they kind of break it down into some of the bigger buckets, things like facilities and amenities, programs and services, looking to improve some of our administrative structure, and working on how we can find additional funding to finance some of these bigger projects, meet some of our larger goals, and then looking at integrating the trails connectivity and open space, definitely placemaking when we talk about that unique identity for the city of Menifee, and then also how can we utilize technology to work smarter, not harder. So those are some of the things that are outlined in the Chapter 6 and Appendix C, which were attached to the staff report. But again, anybody who's interested in reviewing the report in its entirety, it's available on the city website at cityofmenifee.us/Parks Master Plan. And it's a really thorough document, fully inventories all of our assets as far as park and open spaces, as well as reviewing the programs that we offer to our residents. So brief background on that one. So looking at this, being that it's less than a year since its adoption, we do have some notable accomplishments that we kind of want to highlight. And some of those things that we heard loud and clear from our residents was that Menifee is hot. We want something cool to do. And so looking towards aquatics programming, we were able to successfully negotiate a memorandum of understanding with Paris Union High School District for the use of Paloma Valley High School for our first summer of aquatics. So I kept the 7 strategies on the left-hand side, tried to do some color coordination, because when we refer to the numbers, it's kind of hard to figure out where that goes to. Some of the colors might be a little close between 1 and 2, but hopefully it helps a little bit as we navigate this. But definitely, things like that will help us with, again, we don't have our own facility, so we are looking to partner with local agencies to create that in order to meet the need of our residents. So those are we identified the strategies for each one of these items. Also, we completed the Salt Creek Trail feasibility study, which again, kind of looking at connectivity throughout the city. How do we highlight and work with our partners in Riverside County, engaging the residents and what they want to see, because as we know, this portion of the Salt Creek Trail feasibility study is about the 1.6 miles behind the Oasis, which is a very popular development here. So again, moving on to some of the additional items, we have 4 new parks in Menifee. They are beautiful, and I appreciate everybody who came out to the ribbon cutting for Quartz Ranch, but those 4 are Remington, Underwood, Quartz Ranch, and Banner Village. So again, those strategies focus on facilities and amenities and kind of trying to continue to bring in new and improved amenities. Additionally, we have some CIP projects that were finished in the last year or so, one of those being the Laladair Reclaimed Water Retrofit and the E.L. Pete Peterson parking lot resurfacing. And so those strategies are related to facilities and some of the deferred maintenance that we are still kind of playing a little bit of catch up on some of the parks that were taken over from Riverside County. So moving forward, we're kind of giving you a brief overview of kind of our biennial budget. So again, this is the first time the city has budgeted in this manner. So we're kind of looking to create some consistency, trying to make it easy for staff to forecast what some of our needs are, and making adjustments as needed. So technically, our adopted budget is for 2 years. So this is the first year of that adopted budget, and 24-25 will be the second year. So with the forecast of kind of a flattening revenue, we don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of change between this fiscal year and next fiscal year, but some of the things that we do want to highlight are things that you'll kind of see in the adopted budget, and some of the differences are things like in the CSD administration, we have some increases that have taken place because of our increased services for janitorial, pest control, HVAC. As we expand our facility amenities, we anticipate that we're going to be bringing on the radio ranger station within the next year, and things of that nature, and kind of making sure that we're budgeting appropriately for that. Solid waste and recycling, which is our waste management contract and franchise agreement. The decreases in there are kind of aligned with the fact that we have one-time funding for business and senior bill assistance, and that funding may or may not get rolled over depending upon what's left at the end of the fiscal year. So that number will change. As far as recreation, you'll see increases due to the addition of the full year of aquatics programming. And of course, we have that earmark for that holiday tree that we'll be looking at in fiscal year 24-25. And then some decreases in park, it's just simply because we had some mid-year appropriations for additional tree trimmings, and those just haven't made it over into the fiscal year 24-25 appropriations yet. So we're kind of still working through some of those things. And again, just wanting to let you know, as we continue through this, we'll always look at how these things that we're looking for, we're adding or removing, what are those things that are how does that play back into the Parks Master Plan? Specifically, are these guiding us in our decisions? So again, trying to align those with my pretty colored numbers. And I apologize if it's a little small, but trying to get as much information on here as possible. And this next slide is really small, but the good news is that you guys are familiar with hearing about our capital improvement projects. Bryce does a tremendous job updating the commission every meeting on where we're at on some of these projects. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but I do want to highlight some that maybe are still kind of in the works, are still in the design or planning phase, just because I think those are important to note that, when we decide these are the projects we're taking on, we have to figure out where they are in the priority, what city council's priorities are, where the funding is coming from, and as of right now, like I mentioned, the revenues are kind of flattening. So when we're looking at 24-25, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room to add more at this time, but it doesn't mean we can't add projects to kind of like put a pin in it to say these are priorities that we want to address maybe in the next biennial budget process. So, but some of the things that I do want to highlight are things like Evans Park North. Everybody knows about the Gale Webb Pump Track. It's a award-winning park here in Menifee, has garnered attention throughout the state. So now we're looking at the parcel directly north of that, which is also city-owned property. We're currently in the environmental stage on that, so meaning environmental is a very cumbersome process that could take up to a year just to kind of figure out what's out there, and it could take up to additional 6 months after that, maybe even another year if we have to do the full environmental impact review process. So that's going to be a little time consuming. So it's one of those things that we have money allocated to it right now, and we may continue to put money towards it as the years progress, but it's one of those projects that we're not going to have a lot of updates for in the near future. Another project I wanted to highlight would be the Quail Valley Park. That's something that we've heard. Quail Valley is one of our communities, which was highlighted in the Parks Master Plan as not having very many public park amenities, and so we're trying to find ways to kind of meet those needs with either partnering with local groups like the Boys and Girls Club, looking at opportunities for open space. I know we've all kind of there's a Canyon Heights HOA that's out there that has a park that's currently not being used. So we're exploring all of our opportunities that are available to us, but we have money dedicated to establish and develop a park in Quail Valley. We just kind of need to make sure all the pieces fit in. And we are also going to be consistently looking at grant funding for additional park amenities in Quail Valley, as well as Sun City, which is another area that is kind of lacking in parkland and open spaces for our residents. So unless there's any questions, that's kind of a brief overview of my staff report and update. So I'd be happy to answer any additional questions.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that report. The 4 new parks, Remington, Underwood, Quartz Ranch, and Banner Village, all wonderful, wonderful parks. Remington, Underwood, and Quartz Ranch have the children's playground, and Banner Village has the splash pad that we talked about. And if you're looking at strategy 1, 1.1, consider improvements, infill of city-owned parks. I'd like to consider possibly getting children's playground equipment put in Banner Village in the future. I think the splash pad's wonderful, but it's not a year-round activity for the kids. And the nearest park for people in that community to go to for a playground is El Dorado Park, which is about a mile away. So that'd be my only consideration is in the future looking at getting some playground equipment there. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments, commissioners? Okay, thank you very much for the report.
Okay.
8.2, online reservation calendar. Mr. Nick.
And Ms. Jones will take that item.
Good evening, Commission. This report is in response to a future agenda item that we've had for a while that was requesting staff to look into the possibility of posting online the reservation openings or schedules for our facilities, specifically for our fields. So our staff did look into functionality of our current registration software, which is DaySmart. And they do have a feature. It does not work. So unfortunately, once the feature was launched live onto the website, we quickly noticed that the blocks of availability were showing incorrectly. So it would essentially, if someone from the public was looking at the availability, they wouldn't be receiving the correct information. Also, the pricing, for some reason, was showing incorrectly for the allocation costs. So we have reached out to DaySmart several times, and upon research, they found that the bug, if you will, is too extensive, and they are not willing at this time to dedicate resources to prioritize repair. So, but there is light at the end of the tunnel because last fiscal year we were approved for funding to look at new registration software. Our IT department has been tied up with the implementation of our new ERP system, Tyler, but they have committed to assisting community services after that rollout in July to issue an RFP and to see if there are any other better suited registration software for the program. So with that being said, I wanted to provide some information that I thought might be helpful as you're getting questions, perhaps from the public, regarding availability of field space. So just a basic overview, our fields are generally allocated twice a year, and we refer to that as an allocation season. We have fall and winter, spring and summer. Those applications are due in June and December. So during that time, we essentially close down one-time reservations for fields to the general public so that we can assess the applications and allocate our fields. As you can see here, the city maintains 4 ball fields. We typically receive around 18 applications from leagues each year. So as you could imagine, allocating to everyone is difficult. And so once those fields have been allocated, most of the year they remain booked. There is limited availability at times on Sundays, but for ball fields, the inventory is just low compared to the demand. On the other side, we have 11 multi-purpose fields, which we also allocate out. And again, when I mention allocation, that is a permitted reservation. The fields that have lights for the multi-purpose fields are AMR, Centennial, Underwood, and Quartz. I also wanted to provide information on some fields that we don't allocate currently, meaning that they're always open to the public. The flip side of that is that if you are a team who is looking for a practice field and you have a group of over 25, you would want to go the option of allocation. But if it's just a family or a resident that would like to go kick a ball around on a field, those are typically open and available. So with regard to reserving any field space, we highly recommend that anyone interested in doing that contact community services. I've put the number there. You can also email our general email line. Also, the field allocation policy, location of fields, and everything related to that is also on our website, and the short link is there as well. So I can take questions.
Thank you for the report, Ms. Jones. Any questions, commissioners? Mr. Peterson.
Okay. Question, what was the asterisk next to Central Park?
Oh, sorry, so I probably should have, so Central Park's under construction right now, so I just wanted to notate that on the slide, that actually won't be an available field for about a year.
It's a nice field. And then another question, what is the city policy for, let's just say soccer season ends in May, and then, you know, we're looking at the seasons, we have June and then July following before the next season starts up again in August. What's the policy when an organization does have a field reserved, yet they don't have anybody using it?
Yeah, so typically we have a policy if the field is not within use. We do have a member of our admin staff who does field audits. So typically the leagues are good because they don't want to pay for the field if they're not using it. So usually by the end of the season, they'll let us know like, hey, we don't need, you know, X amount of weeks. And so we'll just remove it from their reservation and then it essentially becomes open. But if at any point during the season, we have leagues that have reserved space allocated to them that is not within use, we typically alert them and let them know that they do risk us removing their permit.
And is that, when you do find any available space, let's say when the season ends or during the season if they're just not using a park, are those field spaces able to be reserved for the remainder of the season, or is it more or less first come, first serve?
When I say first come, first serve for the fields that are allocated, yes. If it's the end of the season and let's say one of our larger leagues indicate to us that they no longer need field space, it becomes open. So then the first come, first serve application to reserve it, we would approve it.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments or questions for Ms. Jones? Thank you for the report, Ms. Jones. We're now at number 9 on the agenda, Community Service Department comments. Director comments 9.1. Mr. Nix.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson Faust. I just have a few comments this evening. First, I just want to highlight, you know, it is March. It is closely approaching tax deadlines for everyone, and the city has partnered with the AARP to provide free tax preparation services out of the KC Senior Center. So if folks need assistance, I actually, it's going to be on Wednesdays, but they should really call ahead of time and hopefully schedule an appointment. Those spots are filling up fast as we're approaching the end of the tax season, so that is available currently. Also, Community Services is partnering with the City Clerk Department, hosting a Spring Shred Fest on Saturday, March 30th here at City Hall in the parking lot. So if you have any documents as you're preparing your taxes, and maybe you have some older documents that you want to clean out or get rid of in a very safe manner, you can bring them here. This is a free service to any Menifee residents. They can just drive up, provide that box for items to shred, and they can actually see it being shredded in the shred truck. So if you haven't actually seen that before, it's quite the sight to see, a very large truck that shreds all these documents. So for any residents out there that want to, clean out your garage or get your documents secured and shredded as you're also completing your taxes, that will be available. And then also, we're bringing back Foodie Fridays. That is coming back. It's at MSJC. It's returned as of March 1st. So you might have seen that last Friday. And that's going to be every first Friday of the month moving forward through October. So come on out. It's 5 to 9 p.m. If you haven't seen it, last Friday it was very visible at MSJC. You can see it right off the freeway. A lot of good vendors there, a lot of good food, some light entertainment. So we're bringing that back, and we'll have that from the springtime all the way through the fall. So those are our director's comments for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Nix. Is Foodie Friday now under Community Services, or it's still Economic Development?
It's a partnership between Community Services and Economic Development. We definitely want to help highlight any events that the city's doing, including the Shred Fest that we partner with on city clerks.
It's an inflavorship, right?
Flavorship, there you go. Write that one down.
I love that.
Give credit to Dave.
It's on the presentation. Thank you. So we're now at any comments, director comments, commissioners? Okay. 9.2 Parks in Progress update.
Mr. Howell.
Okay, I don't have much updates. Eventually, we're going to here. It still says even on Cimarron Ridge there, it's actually in design. We're going through plan check on that. So out of all these parks, obviously we had the ribbon cutting for Quartz Ranch that's on there. So Sun City Green Space and Cimarron Ridge are probably the closest that will actually be under construction, hopefully in the next year. Cimarron Ridge is actually, they're trying to move that through. That's the sports park there, and it may be under construction within the next 6 months, possibly. Don't hold me to that, but as things go, they're really trying to get that park going. So those are the 3 and 4 on there. Sun City Green Space and Cimarron Ridge are the ones that are closer to construction than any others. But that's all I have in Parks in Progress, if we have any questions.
Any questions, commissioners? Parks in Progress. Okay, thank you, Mr. Howell. 9.3, solid waste and recycling update.
Going over to Ms. Jones.
Sorry about that. Okay, so just a recap of our February MSJC bulky item event. It's pretty well attended. We have noticed that because we've been really consistent of offering 4 bulky item drop-offs annually, and we've also made a concerted effort to let residents know that they can actually call Waste Management and have their bulky items collected from their residents. We've seen a pretty vast drop-off at some of these events. Our MSJC typically was the larger event, but we've definitely seen attendance kind of wane. But we did still receive 250 cars. We were able to collect 30 tons of waste and divert 13 tons of recyclable material, giving us a 43% diversion rate. So March and April, some upcoming booth events. Actually, this past Saturday, we had a Menifee Recycles booth at the Ranger Wildlife event, which was really well attended. Next Menifee Recycles booth will be at Springfest. Some information that we've been giving out recently are the listing of county hazardous waste locations. We do get questions often. People believe that the city can accept hazardous waste when in fact it's the county that has designated locations throughout that are free to come drop off your waste. We've also continued to remind residents that starting in May, Waste Management will start monitoring organics carts for contamination, as is required by the new state organics law. And we still have fun giveaways as well at the booth, the kitchen pails, and we're also going to order coloring books for the kids. So we're excited about that. We also received word from Cal Recycle that we've been approved for second round of local assistant grant funding, so just under $300,000. And then I also really excited. The county approached us about offering a master composter training program in Menifee. This is generally a really popular program that the county offers throughout different cities in the county, and it books up pretty quickly. So they will be coming to Menifee in September. Registration is already open. They've agreed to give some priority to Menifee residents. So if anyone is interested in taking part in that free course, I highly encourage you to go to the link and sign up.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any comments, commissioners? I just, are we advertising, or at least is there a social media campaign on that composter course or something kind of unique like that?
Yes, so we've requested a social media story post, so hopefully our PIO team has room to fit that in and get that out this week. Well, it'll also be in the summer edition of Menifee Matters, and it's on the Menifee Recycles website.
Great. And I just want to note too, with the on waste management, waste management offers, and correct me if I'm wrong, City of Menifee residents for sharps disposal. They will provide, I think, 2 containers per year, I believe it is.
Correct.
You just call them and ordered it, and it's dropped off at your house. You put your sharps in the container that they provide into a pre-addressed envelope. There's a little bit of paperwork just to sign and fill out, and then you drop it in the mail, and it's a great way to recycle your sharps, because I know that's a big concern in our community. Okay, yes, Commissioner
I
Ball.
had a question in regards to the training. I see it's in September.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, no, was there any way to like move it more towards the spring? Because I know people usually are more excited about gardening and composting
Yeah.
and things like that.
So
during
again,
that
this is
time.
a county program, and so they set their calendar throughout the entire county in different cities almost a year in advance. So, so we got the September slot.
We can maybe strive for spring in the following year. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. 9.4, Recreation Division update.
Hand it over to Ms. Mitchell.
All right. So we do have this lovely information about the program's participants and account revenues. We're doing great on our revenue. So really glad to see that we're definitely meeting our goals. One thing I do want to highlight on here was going to be our donations and sponsorships. So our special events team also kind of works with our marketing and trying to get our business partners in the community to sponsor some of our events. And so we actually just secured one of our larger sponsorships for the upcoming Independence Celebration. Toyota and Lexus of Temecula has guaranteed to sponsor us once again. So our team is hard at work. A lot of times, we get a lot of businesses and organizations that want to provide in-kind services, and we appreciate that, and we love that they want to participate and be partners. But when we get to see that monetary donation, we're really proud of that. So I just want to give a shout out to our sponsorship team of our special events for securing that large donation. Let's see. Additionally, our recreation team has lots of good information, lots of great things coming up. Never a dull day over at the Case and Acero Senior Center. We're still continuing on with our transportation workshops on a monthly basis. One thing I do want to highlight on here is our new Walk with Ease program, which is a walking program that's sponsored by the National Park and Recreation Association, where we actually received a small grant of about $3,000 to kind of help promote walking as a form of exercise to kind of battle some of diabetes, heart disease, things of that nature. So it's a walking program with an educational component that's going to be starting out at the senior center, but we're looking to also target maybe some of our moms that participate, their children participate in our Tiny Tot program to kind of expand into the Lazy Creek Center and then maybe out to some of our local parks. So really excited. We're actually one of the few agencies in Southern California that were awarded any kind of monetary funding for the additional program. So glad to hear about that. Next, we have our veterans free workshops and resources. So pre-COVID, Case and Acero's Senior Center was known as a hub of information for our veteran population. Post-COVID, it's been a little bit difficult to get some of those resources back at the center. So we're kind of kicking that off with a workshop series, trying to get people to come out and support, provide additional learning opportunities for our veteran community who are either looking to learn something new, start a small business, maybe want to go back to school for additional education or career certifications, things of that nature. And then we're also bringing back our resource table days at the Case and Acero Senior Center, starting with March 21st and then also May 23rd. So some of the resources are still a little limited, but we're going to try and make sure that this information is available in one spot. So if anybody's looking for these type of resources, we can at least say, this is what we have available. And of course, we can always refer out to local resources for Riverside County and then in and around Southwest Riverside County as well. Also at Lazy Creek, we're gearing up for spring break camp. Spring break's a little early this year, so April 1st to the 5th. Encourage anybody who's interested to please sign up for that as soon as possible because it does tend to book up rather quickly. And then we also have our regular field trips and that take place during this camp, one being John's Incredible Pizza and then a Padres baseball game. And I believe that concludes my recreation update. If you'd like, I can continue on with special events.
I just want to note, too, I'm excited about the Ranger Campfire program starting up. Is it next Wednesday, I believe, doesn't it?
Actually,
or
it's,
is it
yeah, we had some schedule changes. It's been updated to, the first session is going to be this Saturday.
this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. I just could I get some more information on John's incredible pizza field trip?
So
Would you like to go?
you might be interested.
John's Incredible Pizza. So it's a part of our spring camp. We also offer field trips to any of our participants that are at our enrolled in our spring camp and also want to go to on the field trip. So it's separate from the spring camp. The cost is different, but it's open to all residents.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tremblay, did you have? Okay. Any other questions, Commissioner?
I just wanted to note the only reason why we're going to Padre Stadium because it's closer to
Closest.
Dodger Stadium. So that's the only reason.
No favoritism. All right, let's go to 9.5, special events update then.
Okay, so month of March is getting busy. There is not a dull moment. We've got most of our weekends filled. So coming up, starting up with the next Saturday, March 16th, is going to be Ready, Set, Future. So this is targeting our high school age students who are kind of looking for additional information on college and career opportunities. We have a number of community partners as well as our educational partners coming out to support. This will be taking place at Lazy Creek Recreation Center starting at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There also will be a summer job fair component for any of our businesses that are looking to hire some of our teens for the summer. And then we'll also be promoting summer jobs with our seasonal programs, such as our summer camps, as well as the new aquatics program. So that's going to be a really great opportunity for anybody looking for additional information on college and careers. Next, we have our annual Spring Fest, which is taking place on Saturday, March 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Underwood Park. Again, this is our typical Spring Fest where we'll have live entertainment, some jumpers out there for the kids, and of course, the ever-popular egg hunt. I don't know if there's actual hunting taking place. It's more like a run and grab kind of hunt, but we will have several times for all the different age groups, as well as an all-inclusive egg hunt as well. Next we have our, one thing we wanted to kind of put a save the date on before we move into the month of April. We are doing our Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Ceremony. This is going to be our third year. First year it was hosted at Paloma Valley High School. Second year it was part of the Wall That Heals exhibition at Miller Jones Mortuary. This year it is going back to Paloma Valley High School. So it is going to be Thursday, March 28th at 10 a.m. School will be in session, but it really works out for our benefit because we want to really kind of use this opportunity to educate the younger generation on the Vietnam War. The veterans who came home may not have gotten the welcome that they rightfully deserved, but again, trying to bring our youth into the celebration of that. As we move forward in this program, it will become a part of our annual veterans program. So, and the only reason why it's the 28th because that's the last school day before spring break. So the next day is not a student day, but we are bringing back, and then we will send out a flyer once that's finalized. We were just finalizing our keynote speaker information and things of that nature, so that will be sent out to you guys shortly. And last but not least, we have the return of our Menifee Multicultural Festival. This is going to be Saturday, April 13th at Underwood Park. And this is a family-friendly event from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Lots of fun, lots of diverse entertainment opportunities, highlighting different countries and cultures in and around Menifee. And so definitely encourage anybody who's interested to come out. I do believe they're still taking volunteers if anybody's interested in hosting a booth to represent a country, to educate some of our participants that come through. We are taking signups for that still. And then also I believe they are still taking vendors for the art and craft fair component. So that concludes my report on special events.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, commissioners? Thank you. I assume they'll probably bring in a portable stage for the multicultural festival at that park? Awesome. Okay, 9.6, Capital Improvement Program Update.
Mr. Howell will take it.
Excuse me. Sorry, I shouldn't have took the drink of water. I started choking on it. There are some movements on some of the capital improvement projects that are going on. So the AMR building and the ticket booth, so that's the ranger station and the ticket booth. We have received the material for it. We'll be going out to bid for the construction for that. Hopefully beginning of next week, but I like to give myself an extra week on there what we're doing that. But within the next 2 weeks, we will be out to bid for the construction for that. The park lighting for the pump track and Kai Thomas that we have, that it got approved last night at the city council. And then obviously the amphitheater's under construction. We'll start boring for some of the pits that are there. This upcoming week, the rain has kind of been pushing things off, just like I know it's been pushing off for the bridge and different projects that are going on throughout the city. So we're excited that the rain is hopefully done for a little while. Project-wise, I like the rain plant-wise, but for project-wise, it doesn't help. And then we had our public outreach for the Sun City development there for the green space on Monday. A big turnout. There was a very well turnout for that. So it's a plus that the community came in to actually give input of what they want to see in their community there. And that's all I have for capital improvement. If you guys have any questions on those.
Any questions, commissioners?
I have a question. On the Laladera Park enhancement, it's just the parking lot?
So this fiscal year was just the parking lot. Next fiscal year, we have on there, it's going to be there's a shade cover going over the playground, and then possibilities of either extra ball fields, more courts, something of that type we're looking at to put into at the park to update that whole park.
Thank you.
Could be pickleball courts, it could be extra like that. So it all depends on what it is, but that's what we're upgrading at the park, but that isn't budgeted until next fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Ackerman?
Yeah, thank you. La Piedra Community Center, any idea of a date that those plans will be available for us to check out?
So what we're working on now is the public outreach. So we had our kickoff meeting with them, and then we're scheduling the public outreach at that. Our first one, I don't know the date yet, but we're looking to try to have one, I think at the library or here. We're going to bring it definitely to commission. Okay. We're going to bring it to council, but yeah, we'll bring it there. But that'll help with those comments, and everything will help with the design of the facility.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Howell.
Yeah, once we have the date for that community meeting, whether it be here or at the library next to the space, definitely let the commission know so you can, if you're available, participate and help guide the design. And so that's the portion we're at right now. We're not going to start doing the plans until we hear from the community of what they want inside that community center.
Okay, I know there's a lot of interest out there, so thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. I had a question on the dog park expansion. Is there kind of a conceptual drawing about what it's going to look like?
Yeah,
Can we promote that? And
it's extending. I can bring that in. What we're doing is the larger dog park. We're removing a lot of that planter area that's not usable space. So we're extending that part. So we actually received the material for it. It was the tunnels and the trash cans. We just got that 2 days ago. Some things seem to be, I think we got used to in the COVID days for a little while, a couple years. It took us what normally would be 6 to 8 weeks. It was taking 6 to 8 months to get, it was that. And now some things are starting to come back to where we're receiving them on time. So it's just an extension that way. So it's moving south into that. It's the non-usable on the planter. So it'll enlarge that large dog park area. And then same on the west side of the small dog park, we're going to extend that where it's the DG area that's over there. So it just makes them both a little bit bigger, but then there's the new amenities in there. But I can bring a drawing for you guys this next commission meeting.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to be able to highlight that, hey, we're expanding it.
Yeah.
We're kind of refreshing it, and it's going to be a whole, it'd be like a new park. Nothing's been done there for a long time.
Absolutely.
And, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Let's see, was that was capital improvement? Do we have 9.7 maintenance division report?
Okay, so maintenance, we had 71 submitted for facilities, but then we had 228 submitted for our parks and right-of-ways. 212 of those were completed, and then we had 5 this last month submitted by residents, and we still have 16 of those work orders in progress. We're still waiting on a few materials. The rain has pushed off of some of the work orders are the trail work or stuff. We know that we try to repair the trails, but then if we know it's going to rain 2 days later, we don't want to go repair it and then have to spend the time and money and everything to repair it again. So now that it's starting to stop to rain, we're able to do some of those repairs and catch up on some of the work orders. The tree trimming, again, only 15 are on there. I know already in March, we've already had 300 or 400 trees already trimmed. So this is when we're starting to do in the spring, right before they're starting to bloom and everything. We are back on track with our trees being trimmed. So you'll see them, that number will increase by a lot this next month. And then as you can see on here, so we are starting to be able to get that chart going so you can see by season of what it is that we're repairing or any of that. So the park vandalism or the right-of-way maintenance, what'll start increasing here, into the fall. The springtime and back into the summer, you'll see a lot of those will start jumping up, just like the irrigation repairs. The irrigation's been off for almost 3 months now. So once we're starting to turn it back on, do our checks now, because we know coming to the end of the March into April, we'll start turning things on. That irrigation repairs will start, it'll have a big tick and going up in there. And then moving forward, just for on the maintenance, the park rangers. So as you see, their park visits, we had 342 in February, but we also are doing the rangers. They're not just doing their park visits; they're doing their educational things at the school. So they're going they went to 3 different schools in February. They reached about 375 kids, and what they're doing is they went for a career day. They've been one just for outdoor park and outdoor safety. They love to explain what the rangers do. You can see they bring the animals and different things like that to the schools where they love it. Snake safety, and then of course they take the rest of the time to answer every single question, because every single kid that's there has a question. But they love doing these kind of classes that are there. So that's why we like to highlight that. And you'll see coming up each month we're going not only the campfire program that we have going on, we also have the school visits that they're doing, and it's really good. They're going from the elementary schools to the middle schools, so they're all over Menifee doing that.
Are they going to the high schools?
As of right now, they're not going to the high schools. So the high schools, I'll check if we've reached out. I think we've kind of focused on that, Menifee School District that we've gone out with and talked with them, but I will check with them to see if we have reached out to the high school. And that's all I have for maintenance division update.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Any commissioners, any questions or comments on maintenance? I understand that one of our park rangers is moved on.
Yes.
To another position.
He got a promotional position. It wasn't, we've known, worked with him. I would have loved to give him a bad review so I can keep him, but no, it was really good for him. So they moved on. That position just closed. We'll see. We got a lot of applicants, so hopefully we'll move forward and have a new ranger here, and we'll definitely bring that new ranger when they get the job. Bring him in here.
You. And one last question, Mr. Howell, could you walk us through the online reporting of what should citizens expect once they file a report about damage or a need or something like that?
It depends. So we will, if it depends on what kind of work order it is. If it's in there, if it's drinking fountain's broken, we'll put it in there. They'll get a reply from the email when it'll let them know that it's completed. So we'll receive it. We'll click something on our end that'll say we've received that. That'll alert them, and then it will also, when we complete that, it'll alert the resident that we have completed that work order. If it's something that we know is going to take a couple months, like there's sometimes we have a slide that broke or anything, someone will put a work order in, we'll email them out because we don't want to, and we will close that out because we have our own internal work order system. But we want them to know that, hey, we've ordered this, and we'll let you know. We'll keep an updated schedule for this. If there is anything that's a valley-wide park, we send them an alert that it will to contact Valley-wide. We will also contact them ourselves. So then there's 2 different people contacting. We don't want to just leave them hanging. So, and then that's pretty much the process is theirs. They'll expect that. It will call if we have to, but that's what we try to get to.
Is it an automated system that once you change the status?
It is an automated system, and it'll do that, but we could also write notes in there as well. So, and we can share those notes directly through the app, through that, so it'll alert the resident.
So everyone who does file some type of concern or complaint or noting a maintenance need, gets an acknowledgement back that it was received?
Correct.
Okay. And I think, isn't there a phone number that's usually in there if you had questions or something about it in the response, or?
I'm not 100% sure what that response is, if that phone number is still in there, if it's our community services phone number, or if it's just our community services email.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Hall? Okay. Item agenda number 10, Commissioner reports on committee activities. Commissioners, any reports that you'd like to make? Mr. Peterson.
Okay, well, big news. We've broke ground at the City of Menifee Amphitheater at Central Park. It's exciting to move forward on that one finally. It's going to be a huge benefit to our city's arts, culture, and our identity in general. I know that some of our citizens have been a little bit frustrated with that process, but this is going to be a very wonderful thing for our city. And I'm very excited to see the finished product. We had our grand opening for Quartz Ranch Park and Wildlife Appreciation Day last Saturday, which was actually a ton of fun. I got to meet a red-tailed hawk, a shark, a stingray, and a possum, a tortoise hedgehog, and a bunch of other fun little critters. And adding another park with lights, I think we all know what a huge benefit that is for our city. This is for our youth development, for our healthy living, and in general, just recreation and fun. And so, being able to push that into the evening time is a huge bonus for everybody. And then, not sure if I want to quote Councilmember Carwin, but I think he said it right. Parks, 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 parks. I'm not going to go into the full, but yeah, and then we had our green space meeting with the Sun City community, and that actually was, I was actually quite surprised with the attendance there. I'm pretty sure there was not more than 1 or 2 seats that were not claimed. I was in standing room only, but the overview of what we heard was that the citizens, they really want to have security, safety, serenity, and beauty. And, they are our golden population, and they deserve it. They deserve a very nice, beautiful little place to just relax and to enjoy. And so that's going to be an exciting thing for their community. I just want to give a shout out to some of our fellow seniors that I'd met at that little event, and some of them might be watching us right now. And it was very nice to meet you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Peterson. Any other comments? I also had the opportunity to participate in the Quartz Ranch Park dedication and Wildlife Appreciation Day. That was a wonderful event, and as well as the Central Park Amphitheater groundbreaking ceremony, and also participating in the Sun City Green Space Community meeting, and which, as noted, was well attended. It's great to have the public input in the early stages of development of a new park. And so great work, staff, on getting all those opportunities together and for these wonderful programs that we've been having. Item 11, future agenda requests. Are there any requests for future agenda items from the commissioners? Any update on any of these items? All of them say spring 2024, which we are in the middle of.
Just a note, spring goes through June 20th, so we have a little bit of time. Actually, for the city events marketing plan, we talked to our public information officer, Phil Southard, so he'll be joining us in May to provide that update of our marketing plan. The Valley-wide Parks Review, there's actually another future agenda item with the City Council where they requested an update, so we're waiting on some information on the timing of bringing that to City Council, and if it works out, we might possibly bring that update to the Parks Commission first, but if not, then we'd bring it after we bring it to City Council. So we're just waiting on some additional information for that, and still working on the holiday tree discussion in the Heritage Park.
Sorry, what was the Heritage Park one?
That was actually a request from Commissioner Faust, if you cared.
Yes, just a park that would be kind of dedicated just to preserving the kind of the farming and natural history and cultural history of this area from the past hundreds of years. And it's something I'd certainly like to see, and I know it's near and dear to our mayor's heart as well, too. Any other questions or comments, commissioners? Okay, then we will adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:59. Thank you for your attendance tonight.
And we didn't have to get a motion to adjourn?